life is very fickle. I have learned this through multiple experiences. If you have a really good day today, it will pass. If you had a really bad day today, again, it will pass. The sun
Mhm.
will rise again tomorrow. Every day is a
Mhm.
new day, as simple as that.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Say Something with Mads. This is the only youth channel where every week I have a new youth change maker from across the globe coming on my channel, sharing their views, opinion, and perspectives on something which is very close to their heart. This is one channel where each conversation matters, especially if it's coming from youth. Today we have Rohit Kumar. He is very big on LinkedIn, and I've been following him for a long time. And finally, he's here today. I'm excited to welcome Rohit. Rohit, how are you feeling today? And welcome to my channel.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. I am good. How are you?
I'm doing good. And without further ado, let's start. Rohit, I would like you to introduce yourself, and you have done a lot of things. So, for our audience, who is Rohit?
I was actually born in Bihar, a very small town in Bihar, which is Darbhanga. And my parents migrated to Delhi for better job opportunities in 2000s, right? So I actually pursued my education in a government aided school in Delhi. And then I eventually got admission into one of the better schools in Delhi, which was Tagore International School. So I always had a lot of issues in speaking on stage because I always not weave around a single sentence without stuttering. So stammering is the, big issue I used to face. So I think around about in class ninth or 10th, I realized that I need to get rid of this. So then I started taking speech therapy classes, and gradually the situation improved, right? So then eventually I even applied to the student council of our school and went on to become the student moderator of our school. And as the moderator, my core responsibility was supervising over all the class representatives of a school of 5,000 students strength, right? So I was in an inevitable situation where once I had to go to all the classes to confront students if they're facing issues or if they have suggestions, or just to talk to the students as a matter of fact, because I was the only link between the school's administration and the school's student body as the moderator. All right. So that is where the bandwagon actually started, and I actually became a lot more confident. So after that, the Alsing Evening College happened, and I think college would be professionally the most fruitful time for me, whereas personally, school was always better. It is very difficult to surpass your school times, school memories, right? But
Absolutely.
professionally, college gave me a lot of things. So I went on to be the president of the placement cell and also became the vice president of our political science department because I was pursuing political science honors in the ALSO. And besides this, I also got to know a lot of people. Then eventually LinkedIn happened because I came into the placement cell, and
We will
everybody who was in the placement cell had to be on LinkedIn. Yeah.
So we will talk about that. Let's go back and ask you something which I think I would like to delve a little deeper. Is that what is that one thing you remember when you were young and that stage when you were stuttering? What is that one thing which the therapy in which they told you to practice so that you became this confident speaker and so calm demeanor? The way you say things is so clear and do you think do you remember any suggestion or any tools which they gave you to what you are today?
Right. So I actually remember a lot from that phase because it was not very far back. It was just up in class 10. right? So I remember a lot of funny incidents because when you start to stammer in a society like India, where the people are not very accommodative, right? So there are a few issues, right? So in these speech therapy classes, they were not really, uh, implementing any rocket science sort of stuff. They always stuck to the very simple stuff. So they told me that you need to look into the mirror and talk for 15 minutes. Talk about anything, or just be as simple as introducing yourself into the mirror as if you were talking to somebody, and look into your eyes through the mirror, right? Because when a person actually stammers, their confidence and self esteem is at an all time low, right?
Mm,
So,
mm,
the most difficult part is to have an eye contact with the person you are talking to and then maintain the conversation. So, once you get that eye contact back, you are able to maintain it for prolonged period, then your confidence actually starts to build. So it
mm.
was more of a psychological game than a
Yeah.
physical game because I did not have any physical deformity, right? So it was more of a psychological game. And with practice, I think it was just a month of practice and the results were exceptional in just a month.
Oh, great. Mm.
Right.
So thank you for sharing this. It's not a small tip, it's a very important tip for people who have stage fright, who are still stammering or stuttering. Thank you for sharing this. Now let's go on to the topic of our discussion. Though I remember having discussed a lot of things, what should be the core topic of our discussion? And I remember you had mentioned that I would like to talk about the various internships. That's a very big part of your life because you are a part of an internship cell, and then how you went on to do so many internships, how it changed in your life. But before that, something which you mentioned, I have not thought about it that way, but I would like to know what is college life optimization means? Like, what are the young people, what are the things they can do while they are in college and not just while away time in canteens and just say the roam around, but this is the time when you can really work upon you and work to make a stepping stone for the future.
Right. So college life optimization actually refers to how well you can, utilize
Yeah,
your time while you are in college. As simple as
right,
that. Right.
right.
So you always need to focus on making memories, having a great circle, having a great vibe around you. But apart from that, you also need to think about your future because after your college, there will be no school, right? There will be no college. You won't actually have the security of the four walls of a school or a college. Why about college life optimization? Obviously, first is internships because I have built my entire profile around internships. That is what kind of forms the fulcrum of my entire portfolio, right? Then we can talk about societies because societies come with a lot of responsibilities, a lot of
Mm,
pressure, a lot of toxicity as well, which gives you a lot of experiences, basically holds you in good stead because that is something you will be coping up in the outside world as well. And then we can also talk about meeting new people. If
mm,
someone is looking to start up, then the best time to find their co-founder is while in college. Because
mm,
if you are not in college, you pass out, where will you go to find people? Because there will be
mm,
rarely any person you'll meet apart from your office itself, right? So college more or less is actually a melting pot of multiple individuals who all of them have their own unique perspectives, right?
right. Rohit, let's start with one basic question. You have done a lot of internships in a lot of companies, but why would people do multiple internships and how get into internships? Uh, People might do one or maybe two, but from your profile or what you shared with me, you have done multiple. Like along with your studies, how do you manage the internship? So let me get the feel of that. That how do you like? It's only in the summers you do, or you do along with your college? How?
Right. So this is, I think, more or less the million-dollar question. How do you actually manage internships and college hours? So I'll say I was actually very lucky, or some might call it unlucky in this aspect, because I did all of these internships when we were at the peak of the pandemic, right? So the entire country was in a nationwide lockdown, severe lockdown at that. So there were a lot of travel restrictions, right? So we could not go to college. All we did was sleep in our sleepovers and then, just attend our classes and tell ma'am, yes, ma'am, I'm present. And that is about it. Your class is done, right? You can just, keep sleeping on for the entire class. Nobody cares,
Yeah,
right?
true.
So that is how simple it was. And that is when the internships started to happen, because I had a lot of time
Mm,
at hand and I had very few things to do apart from my college,
mm,
right? So that is when internships happened. When I came onto LinkedIn, I realized that there's this term known as internships. I had no clue that such a term actually existed, right? Because in
okay.
school, they don't teach you about internships. They teach you about jobs and placements, right?
Yeah.
Internships does not actually figure out in the school curricula, right? Yeah. So that is actually how it happened. And I still remember it was, I think, December in 2021 when I got my first internship. It was basically a startup, right? And it
Where was
was my
it?
first, it was at a company known as Connect 365,
Okay.
right? And I did such exceptional work there that within 1 month, the company was closed, right? Basically,
Okay.
all the team members did such exceptional work. I won't take the blame only on myself. Let us be very honest. All right. So after that, I realized that internships actually form a very important part of every student's life, right? The more
Right.
internships you do, not than the not I think more important than the number is the quality of internships you have up your sleeve, right?
Mm,
So that is when I started to focus on internships. Now the question arises, why would people do multiple internships? So if you are in college, you don't really know if you want to get into consultancy, you want to get into HR, marketing, sales, strategy, growth, etc., etc. You don't know that. Only a few people are that sorted, and I was not nowhere
correct.
near
Yeah.
it. Right. So that is why people do multiple internships to see where their calling lies. And all those internships, mind you, are at different designations. Just to realize that, yeah, this is what I like to do, and this is what I like to do for the rest of my life. Because that is when
Okay.
you take that pivotal decision, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, Rohit, for those people who are listening, young people, they think that, okay, what do I have to offer to this company? Why would they even take me? So, what would you suggest? Like they should go on and apply, keep on applying, or keep on looking at something they might get through, or they should target any specific company they are looking at and then keep on applying there. So, what was your strategy?
I think one cannot uh, keep on applying to a specific company, because if I am trying to get into, say, X company, and if I've applied there once and I've been rejected, for the 6 months, I won't be able to apply to that company, because all these companies have their HRS
Hmm.
portals and they capture your phone number and your email ID. If the same email ID and phone number figures in any of the CVs for the next 6 months, that CV is automatically rejected. So, having worked
Okay.
as an
Okay.
HR intern, I have a general know-how of how this HR system works. Besides this, you actually need to consistently apply to internships. because initially nobody knows what kind of designation they actually want to apply to, right? Just touching
Mm,
upon the last answer that I said, right?
mm,
So
mm,
it
mm.
is pertinent that you apply to companies persistently and don't stop when you do not get the results, and get your communication right, because every individual who's ever got an internship has had to crack an interview. If you cannot crack an interview, you are as good as done and dusted, right? So you need to get your communication sorted first of all, because if you are not able to express something, then everything goes down the drain, more or less, right?
Mm.
If I just compare my first content piece that I wrote to the content piece that I wrote yesterday, I can actually, create an imagery of the evolution that I've gone through in the last 10 months, right? And I have recently completed 300 content pieces on LinkedIn. So that does not come overnight, right? It is actually getting 0.1% better every day. That is what gets you from 0 to 1, right? And all our life, it is always a journey of from 0 to 1, right? So yeah,
Perfect. Yes.
practice makes the man perfect, and there's no quote more appropriate than this.
So when I read your LinkedIn post, it's about how to optimize your LinkedIn post, how to be big in LinkedIn. Tell me one thing. As I was also, we joined late, and you people are very young to join LinkedIn. Everybody is looking at numbers, like how many followers. Does that create a lot of pressure on people? Honestly speaking, I don't look at how many people are following me. I write my piece and I am done with that. But is it the right technique, or from when you started and where you are, what are the three most important steps would you share, or maybe more, to get better?
When someone creates a new profile on LinkedIn, so it is natural that they are hit with a rock, which is known as inferiority complex, right?
I read
Because
your
you
post
have
today.
so
Today, your post said
right,
about the newcomers, right? Yes. Yeah, let's hear it.
exactly, and coincidentally we have this question, right? So yeah, uh, as soon as inferiority complex hits you, you are all over the place. You don't know where to go. And that is a situation we all have been in, right? When we were a newbie on this platform. Because I still remember the first day that I created my profile. I could see that, yeah, this person has got this internship. This person won this competition and he has attached a photo with a trophy. This guy got a job at this company. So it is so overwhelming that it can actually make you feel that you've achieved nothing in life. You
Hmm.
are the last, you are basically the last person in the race, right? That is the kind of feeling it can give. But coming to the numbers part, I think numbers are not really important, but they cannot be ignored altogether as well, right? So, numbers, if somebody is only running after numbers, right? And somebody is only writing content just to rack up the numbers, so the numbers will only be important when you actually have relationships with your followers. They are loyal to you, and you have a sort of credibility in their life, right?
Hmm.
Because I have seen people with 50,000 followers and not even 100 engagements on a daily basis on their posts. This is particularly saddening. Either you have focused on multiple niches and never got your niche right, or you are wealthy enough that you've bought your followers. Something has gone haywire in your journey, right? So, but if there's somebody, because I remember when I was at 10,000 followers, I had exceptional engagement. I mean, I'd like to believe, and I had exceptional engagement because my posts used to hit 300, 400, 500 likes pretty easily. because I used to necessarily talk about the three things like internships, college life optimization, and societies. And that is what I built my entire audience upon. And now that I suddenly shifted from all these career enhancement things to personal branding, freelancing, I can actually see that my numbers have plunged dramatically. So, does that mean that I got my LinkedIn game wrong? Not really, because earlier I had a certain niche. Now I am thinking long term, I am thinking about my career. Then I have to take the numbers and the plunge that they've experienced on my chest, and then I'll have to build from scratch. Because
Mm.
earlier, as far as I remember, the content pieces used to hit three figures in engagement in the first hour. Now, even 50 is a very long crawl, right? So, LinkedIn is not all about numbers, it is more about the relationships that you have with your followers. If a person who has 1,000 followers, out of those 1,000 followers, 800 are his prospects, which even if 1% of them are converted as his clients, he still has eight clients. And if a person who has 20,000 followers with no prospects, then what is the point of those 20K followers? Right. So, yeah, numbers are not really important, but you cannot ignore them altogether. Numbers is
Mm.
something that will actually get you a kind of credibility. If somebody comes to your
Yes.
profile, is that you have a certain number of followers, he
Mm.
automatically knows that you are somebody legit, right?
Mm. Do you think this is going to be a future business prospect you're looking at it, or what you have something this will be as a backup, or you will have another profession which is actually going to be your bread earner? So how do you see this? This you is this going to continue? You are going to make money out of this branding business, or you have something else planned?
Right. So when I actually was elected as the president of the placement cell of my college, so freelancing was nowhere near the scheme of things. All right. It was always going to be a very comfortable career journey
Sure.
because
Yeah.
if I was in the placement cell, getting a job would not have been very tedious for me. Right. But then when I got into the last year of college, I realized that I wanted to do something very unconventional. And
Okay.
almost all the individuals in my family, and even if I consider my extended family, all of them are salaried employees.
Yes,
Right.
and it's
So
very
I
difficult
wanted
to
to do
break that mindset. Trust me.
barrier.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Who knows better than me? Because even when I go to family reunions, I am not able to explain them what am I exactly up to. Right. So, except my brother, nobody in my family actually knows what is Rohit doing. Right. They just know that he earns. That is about it. Right. So, yeah, I am taking this freelancing thing as a long term plan, as a core career prospect as of now, and let us see where it takes us, because I see a lot of potential in this, right?
Okay.
Because
Okay.
LinkedIn has only a fraction of active users of what Instagram and Facebook have. So,
Okay.
with so after I think 3 to 4 years, if we say that the number of active followers or active people on LinkedIn will be doubled, we are talking about near about a billion people, right? So out of those billion people, some will be business owners. Not everybody will be job seekers, right? So if even if 1% of those people are business owners, they will require personal branding services, and personal branding is one of the pillars that I have. I actually do content writing as well, post writing, and as a passion project, I do career coaching as well. Right.
Okay.
So I am actually taking this as a long term plan.
Right. Right. Now, I have a question for you. Maybe it's an hypothetical question, but I have to ask you this. Rohit, if I have to ask you, what makes you happy?
What actually makes me happy is putting out a LinkedIn post wherein I get at least two or three inbound clients and I am able to close one of them.
Okay.
That is
So
about it. That is all I ask. But if I was asked for an ideal situation, this is what it would be,
that
right?
would make you. All right, got it. Rohit, this is the right time to ask you another question. If you have to write a book right now, what would be the title of the book?
Right. This is an exceptional question. First of all, I think I'll say a very colloquial take on the title, but then touching upon my previous answer, it will be in double apostrophe, log kya kahenge, and then who cares?
I
All
know,
right.
I knew that it's coming. I somehow knew. Yeah, perfect. From the conversation we had,
Right.
that was something which was, yes, I thought that that would be something which will be very appropriate right now. Right. Rohit, tell me one. You
Right.
have been in college, cell placement cell, when you have done a lot of internships, and you are pretty young. You are talking about a lot of things on LinkedIn. You must be meeting a lot of young people. Tell me one thing, which, or maybe two, what you think is the young people thinking about in a bigger scale? Are they thinking about what the where the world is going, what is sustainable living? But do you think the youth also are thinking about these things, about living sustainably?
I think the short answer would be a big yes, because I have seen so many startups or so many even societies in our colleges in the Delhi University circuit sprout, which actually revolve around this entire concept of sustainability.
Mm,
We are seeing organizations who had absolutely nothing to do with sustainability, like BCCI, which controls cricket in India. Even they, in the recently concluded Indian Premier League, they
yes.
actually planted they actually planted tree for every dot ball that actually happened throughout the tournament. So even institutions who have absolutely nothing to do with sustainability are trying to do their bit, and that
Right.
is at a larger scale. If we just tone it down a bit and come to our level of the students level, we can see that there are quite a few startups which are run by only a few individuals, say three or four guys, and they are working so well. They have such a clear vision about sustainability. And if we tone it down a little bit again, coming down to the college level, I see that our societies in college, specifically in the Delhi University circuit, because coming from that circuit, I can vouch for them, right?
Mm,
So even
mm,
they have amalgamated the entire concept of sustainability really well in their entire, system.
mm,
Because I
mm.
used to see when the first time I saw a tree plantation drive was when I came to college. In our
Really?
school, tree
Okay.
plantation drives didn't used to happen, right? Or if they used to happen, we were not called to those. As simple as that in school. I won't put my school in a spot, but then if it would have happened in school, they didn't call me to see it,
Mm,
right? And since I was one of the, I'll say, leaders of a society in our college, I have seen multiple tree plantation drives.
mm,
We can see that quite a few people care a lot about society, something which we
mm,
did not see while in school, right? We can see that there are societies coming up to take care of stray dogs, stray
mm.
animals.
Rohit, now is the time for the role reversal. I give you a chance to ask me a question, and over to you.
First of all, it was such a refreshing thought of coming on a podcast with someone who's not really from Gen Z. All right. Because I've been to multiple podcasts, and each of them has a podcaster who's more or less of my age, 25, below, right? So when I actually came across your profile, then I realized that you have such extensive experience working in India, and then you moved out to Dubai. So how did you actually wrap your mind around this entire conception of podcasting and the
Mm,
art of being a podcaster? And this is a very unconventional role for someone
mm,
who's not from Gen Z, right?
mm,
So how
mm.
did you settle into this?
I still consider myself as not very good with tech. I have some support. One of my interviewee is one who does my video editing, and I'm always dependent on her. Though I have a 24-year-old son, he will just say, "Mummy, learn it yourself. Do yourself. Don't depend on me." I mean, that's the young gen will tell you, "Go ahead, put yourself there and start learning." So that's how it is. The thing which I don't know whether I'm doing good, but whatever my intention is for doing this is do it from the heart. And if I'm doing a talk show with Rohit should never forget this interview. So I take one conversation at a time, and that's where it's going. I don't know whether technically I need a lot of upgradation. Maybe I need to look at the light, I need to look at other things, but for now, I look at changing one person at a time. So my intentions are purely, I think that's pushes me every day. Thank you so much, Rohit. It was really, it didn't feel like an interview. It was like meeting somebody face to face and talking our heart out. And I think we were all on the both on the same page, doing going through the interview. And I really, really admire the work you are doing. Honestly, you are at such a young age doing such great work, and I'm a big fan. So, how would you end this interview? What would you like to say? Your two bit to end. I sum up the whole thing about LinkedIn or about the youth.
Right. So first of all, it was lovely having this conversation. I think one of the better podcasts I've been to, and this is by leaps and bounds. All right. And now coming to the two cents that I'd like to give to young people, I think there's a very uh, cliche line which is going around, which says that hustle in your 20s, enjoy in your 40s, and not the other way around, right? Because if you are enjoying right now, you will be hustling in your 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s, right? You will have a really tough time. So I think it is as simple as that. If you have to make it large in life, sacrifices will have to be made. And
Mm,
I've always maintained this one thing: nobody can beat a person who shows up every day, no matter what. If you are
mm,
showing up every day, because motivation will not help you show up every day, because motivation will eventually die down. It is the discipline that kicks
absolutely.
in when the motivation dies. All right.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if you have to make it large, the discipline factor has to be sorted, and life is very fickle. I have learned this through multiple experiences. If you have a really good day today, it will pass. If you had a really bad day today, again, it will pass. The sun
Mm,
will rise again tomorrow. Every day is a
mm,
new day, as simple as that. Right. So I
mm,
think these are the few cents that I always, try to conclude with, because
mm.
these are something which I always abide by. So why not?
True, absolutely. It was a wonderful conclusion when you said that motivation fades out, but discipline stays. That's what I see in the gym. If you talk about exercising, if you talk about anything, it's about discipline. You show up even if for half an hour. Just go and do your bit, and then you know that you are there. Um, Also, one thing which I think people should learn from you and other people who are doing great work is balancing act. It is always you have to manage your studies, you have to manage social responsibilities, you have to manage your social media, plus you have to take care of your mental health and physical health and eat well and sleep well. So this balancing act will take you in the longer run. Do not ignore any one of them, right? So
Absolutely.
thank you
I
so
second
thank you
this.
so much, Rohit. Thanks a lot for being here, and just wait uh, to see you grow, and let's build a better future for everybody. See you again next week with another change maker. For now, bye bye.